You cannot talk about the 2025 economy without addressing the elephant in the room. The elephant, of course, being AI. AI was such a huge, powerful, dynamic, and moving force in the economy of 2025. And in fact, a lot of the economic growth that we saw came just from AI, just from this one place. I should probably say from 7 places because there are 7 companies that are very, very deeply involved in AI, and they have become known as the Magnificent Seven. And these 7 companies, that is Apple, Amazon, Google, Nvidia, Microsoft, Facebook, and Tesla, actually make up 1/3 of the value of the S&P 500, which is absolutely wild if you think about it. The S&P 500 is made up of 500 of the biggest, wealthiest, most powerful companies in the biggest, wealthiest economy on earth. And 1/3 of the value of that whole index of all 500 companies is coming out of 7 companies. And if you look at this chart here, this is my chart for day 3 of chart week. You can see that the growth in the S&P 500, which by the way has just setting records every other week all year, that most of that growth is clearly coming from AI. Now, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, in certain ways, it's a little bit scary because our economy is entirely dependent on this emerging technology, on artificial intelligence. There are a lot of worries right now that this is a bubble and that these companies are overvalued. So, are these companies overvalued? Well, one of the most traditional measures that people use is something called the price to earnings ratio. The price to earnings ratio is just the difference in what the price of a company's stock is, like how much you pay for a share of stock, versus how much the company's actually earning. What is seen as a very solid, very safe price to earnings ratio is between 15 to 20. A pretty good price to earnings ratio is between 20 and 30. Above 30, it's considered a little bit riskier. Now, the price to earnings ratio for most of the Magnificent Seven is actually looking pretty good. Most of the year, it's been between 20 and 30 for 6 of the companies. The big outlier here is Tesla. Tesla's price to earnings ratio is like almost 200. The other 6 stocks are in pretty good shape. So, what does this mean going forward in our economy? It means that we all have our wagons hitched to AI. We're all counting on the Magnificent Seven stocks to remain magnificent in 2026.